Okay, next question from Caroline Allen.
I don't know how much either of you understand about, I don't know how much either of you understand how people draw unemployment, but my question is, how could you draw unemployment when you're on full Social Security and you're getting a retirement check from the company that you work for, but the company shut down, and you're beyond retirement age, you're 67 years old, you're an 8th grade dropout? How could you draw all those funds that never qualify for a job if you applied for one, and when jobs are open, you have no need to get a job?
Starting with me first?
Yeah.
That's difficult to answer, to be quite honest with you. I would have to ask, do you know of such an incident?
My sister-in-law.
Your sister.
I'm very aggravated, as you can see.
I can see that you are, and
she's got 2 years to draw this, and she's happy as a lark.
yeah, many people are who are on the dole, and there's a lot of folks that don't want to go to work simply because they make less money if they do. I don't know the inner workings of how all of those things came together for her benefit. I really don't know what happened there, but I do know that at the federal level, that it shouldn't even exist, such a thing. You know, unemployment thing, they've extended, what, 90 some months now? I mean, gee whiz.
99 months.
What incentive do Americans have to go to work now? You know, I believe in helping people out, but let's take that back down to the community. I've known people who were unemployed, took food over to their house. I fell on hard times. People brought stuff over to my house. But don't go dependent on the federal government for this. And of course, there's the state. You can go to the state. There's programs at the state level. But we've got to get the federal government back in the box. To answer your question, to be honest with you, I don't know how that whole situation happened. But I see all the avenues for it to happen over and over and over again if we don't follow the U.S. Constitution.
Everyone who worked at Essex Wire is doing that.
Yep. I can believe it. I can believe it.
Or whatever they call it.
I do believe it. I wouldn't dare tell you that I didn't believe it.
Well, the part of that question I guess I don't understand either is if the person already retired was drawing Social Security and then went back, 'cause I thought there was limits on how much income you can earn and be on Social Security. Okay, I thought there's parameters on what they are. I'm pretty sure there was, you know, because that's been an issue over the years. You hear people say, "Well, I retired and I can't go back and work part time," or you know, and they'll lose some of their Social Security benefits. So that doesn't quite mesh the way I understood it to be, but definitely that's something that should be looked into. You know, I believe in helping give people a hand up instead of his hand out, and you know, we've got to, you know, people that have lost their jobs, you know, we've got to have some training for them at the state level here, state programs to train, get these people that their jobs have been dislocated, and get them back in the workforce. The only thing we can do is we got to get people back to work and get employers hiring again. That's the only way we get out of this hole we're in. And I just heard on the radio that the president wants to spend another $50 billion for another stimulus, quote stimulus. You know, it just doesn't work. The stimulus program, they passed the 800 billion, 787, it's over 800 billion now, back in February 2009. And you know what the results are through June? We've added $3 trillion to the national debt. We've lost over 3 million jobs in the private sector. That's a failed stimulus. And now they need to keep doing more of these stimulus. And the Keynesian economic policy is a disaster. Like I said in my opening statement, we can't spend and borrow ourselves for prosperity. And we got to, you know, people have got to be encouraged to look for a job. And the unemployment benefits can't be a point where people don't want to look for a job. But there is safety net programs, and they're there for a reason. And to help people get out, you know, they need to, you know, need a helping hand. But you know, it's the point where we can't afford where we're headed. And if we don't get this deficit spending under control and get this people back to work, get this economy going, it's going to be made up for us by default, because we're going to be a bankrupt nation. And you know, if that happens, which we're in the 11th hour, if that happens, our standard of living, our quality of life in this country is going to be way different. And we're going to pass on for the first time in a generation, first time in American history, a lower standard of living to our kids, and we should be ashamed of that. So that's why it's so important for people to get a vote, because there is consequences of elections, and we're seeing what's happening in
Warren, can she ask a follow-up? Warren, is she allowed to ask a follow-up?
Pardon?
Is she allowed to ask a
Oh,
follow-up?
yeah, anybody can ask the follow-up.
So if you don't understand any of that now, how long is it gonna take you to get on a program like that and get it figured out so that it, you know, instead of rerunning for your next term? Are you know, how long would it take you to cover that information?
Well, first question I would ask is to find out how somebody's collecting unemployment if they're already retired on Social Security, because I think that's where it's not meshing, okay? Because I don't know how you draw unemployment and still we're drawing Social Security at the same time. I didn't think that was possible. So the first question that I would ask is the unemployment compensation people here in Ohio, how is that possible? And then maybe if that's Social Security people too, because I didn't think that was possible, because I thought there was a limit you're allowed to earn and still draw Social Security.
You might want to call Columbus.
I've made a lot of phone calls,
Have
sir.
you?
I wouldn't be asking him if I'd already got the end of the line.
Yeah.
Well, let me just follow up on that. When we're done, give me your name and I'll have my office, since I'm a state senator, we'll look into it. Because that's partly a state unemployment, it's
Right.
state and then the Social Security is federal. And well, I asked the question, I don't probably ask the question. Because I said something doesn't seem to mesh there, but look at what I know, the knowledge I have about that.
There are multiple ways to scam the system, and there are people that do it. You know, that doesn't mean that the rules are broken. It means that they're not following.
Thank you.
Next question.